All right, welcome to Landslide News. Just a light one, I hope you like it. Arsenal on top of the Premier League table and also on top of the
Africa in turmoil.
Okay, Africa in turmoil, but Arsenal in peace. All right,
which cannot save anybody in Africa. Unfortunately, let's get our home at peace so we can have
our own league.
Yes.
All right. Our dear president, former President Goodluck Jonathan is trapped in Guinea-Bissau and other African leaders. Philip.
Yes, you know, just yesterday we broke the news that there was a coup in Guinea-Bissau after the election that took place on Sunday was marred with controversy. The city president declared himself the winner with 65% of the vote cast, and the opposition is saying that I'm the winner.
Alleged. He's alleging that he has 65%.
Yes.
We don't. It's not. I don't know yet. He declared himself.
Okay. That he won 65% of the total vote cast. But the opposition said, no, I won the election. And the army had to step in. And we did warn the Nigerian government yesterday for the need for us to have an election that is acceptable to all. And the need to have an independent INEC, not INEC control from a corner. Here we are. Jonathan is an international figure who is saddled with the responsibility of monitoring election and giving opinion to it that this election is peaceful. Here we are, he's trapped in Guinea-Bissau. He's in the middle of the action. We pray for his safe return. As it is today, although it is confirmed that the African leaders that were trapped, they are safe in their hotel. But how can you be safe in a country that is torn with war? Because we heard that there were gunshots in the city. And the president said, I had gunshot and I'm in my room and they arrested me. So we pray for the safe return of our former president.
The former president, of course, we have reports that the place, their hotel where they are safe, they are there, but the land is locked. Nobody's going out, nobody's coming in. The airports are closed. Nobody can go out, nobody can come in. As at now, he's still in Guinea-Bissau. Goodluck Jonathan.
No. Well, we have to remember we are not too worried about his safety as much as we are worried about the safety of the entire sub-region, the entire ECOWAS. If we continue in this line of forcefully taking over power, we'll watch things degenerate and we suddenly come and forcefully, take over power. This is where I begin to ask the military in general. Let's draw an analogy to Nigeria, which is the greater population. Guinea-Bissau is just about 2 million. They are not
to the city of
Abuja. Many cities in Nigeria are much populous than that. We are hopeful and very, very confident Ebola Jonathan will return safely. But let's talk about our democracy, because what is important in this case is the lesson learned. They have just 1 day left for the announcement to be made. The announcement of their result was to happen today. It was to happen today. It hadn't happened. Both sides were already laying claim. The Embalo Omaro, the president, who happens to be the first to actually now be elected for the consecutive times, even over 3 decades or thereabout. They've never really had somebody elected and elected again, for the second time. I think he was to be the first one. And now it's still not happening. So 2 sides laying claim. How did we get there? In Nigeria, I will ask us, because coup will not be palatable here, because Guinea is just 2 million people here, and the tribes in Guinea are just about 5 or there. But Nigeria were over 200 to 300 tribes. Interest a lot more. Yes. So containing coup in Nigeria is something we don't want at all. So I now call on the military. There's something called lawful order. When the president comes to you and asks you to go to Edo State, for example, into electioneering and things that the military are not originally built for, it's important you have conversation. We don't want a situation where the military will be aiming something and at the damn minute the military will not come and take over. They watched this election, they watched the degeneration. It was strongly contested. Now they are coming to forcefully put everybody under military rule. It's not quite acceptable to those who love democracy. Yes, you will see somebody say, hey, let military come and take over. Let me come. It's not exactly what you think.
It's not as easy.
It's not as easy as you think. You understand? So military rule is not what we want by any means. We use this opportunity to call on our INEC, call on all our politicians, call on the police, instead of aiding a factional party chairman who appointed himself a chairman or whatever to take over any national secretariat. You tell them, no, give me the list that says where INEC says you are the chairman. So you should obey the law. Don't aid these people to destroy our nation. And at the end of the day, we don't say, oh, because everything is damaged, the military has to take over. We don't want the military. We are making it very clear. Particularly in Nigeria, they have a lot of work to do. Look at bandits. Let them even go and clear those. So they have a lot of job to do. We don't want them. We want everybody.
Let me tease you a little bit.
Yeah.
The military has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
When we saw some uprising that were religious in Nigeria during the military rule, we saw them, they were quelled. Peter Metasini was a very, very, very bad organization that killed mercilessly, and they nipped it in the bud.
Yeah.
So the work of the military to do, if it were to be that the military was in power, would they have gone to this extent?
But that's not the only function. The function of national development, goes beyond just one particular item. And there's nothing that stopped the military from doing that function, even under civic rule. There's nothing that stops them.
Because the command and control, doesn't come from the military.
Yes, I agree with you. In as much as the president is the commander-in-chief, be rest assured that he works and fits with what the people in the field gives to him. For example, the problem we have before us today, things like Boko Haram, things like banditry, and things like other, especially with the what we have seen released now. The military themselves, okay, let me put it to you. The president has, as at today, on many occasions, acknowledged the death of Brigadier General Musa. We are yet to hear from the military. You understand? The primary constituency. I am yet to hear. You understand? There's nothing that stops the military. American military has been under civil rule for centuries now. And they are the most lethal weapon on earth today. American military is the most lethal military on earth today. Both in equipment and in anything. No one comes close halfway. There's no other country is halfway. Even though there's no one. Though they are under military. Even though they are under civilian rule. So nothing prevents them.
So what do you think is the problem?
The problem is this. We allow things to momentum to add up. We begin to build to a point where we will have no option. We say, because instead of to allow for breakdown of order, then let military take over. But meanwhile, we aided all these things. Imagine you were so angry the other day that the police had armored vehicle to deploy at zone 5, where PDP factions were. There was no riot or anything happening there, but they had armored vehicle. We have the video littered everywhere. Meanwhile, robbery and in Abuja, one chance is kidnapping and taking people every day. What is police doing?
Okay, let me stop you there. We will have time one day to talk about military under civilian rule, command and control, structure of the military, how it comes by. One day we will talk about it. But today, what has bedeviled Africa with bad governance? Is it that most of these leaders that are facing out were schooled abroad? Most of them, they went to school abroad. I can tell you most of them. Now they've come back to hand us over tyrannic dictatorial rule in Africa. What has bedeviled them?
Very easy. What has bedeviled Nigerian and African leaders today, most of them, they are unrefined, uncivilized. Forget the fact that they went to Europe or American. They have to have education, but they might not have had the education. For instance, if you check the history of Nigeria for the past, 8 years to 12 years, 8 to 10 years, the leader we had are half-educated people. I'm sorry to use the word, because when you take your mind back to the era of Yar'Adua and Goodluck, when you see refined men in office, you see the difference. When you go to the time of Obasanjo, you see the caliber of people who were holding, ministerial appointment and all of that. And you see the way things were done. That time you have the likes of Kojo and the rest of them. Now, the problem here is that the man that is half educated, who is not refined, is naturally greedy. There's this word the white man has said, or the English man has said, inferiority complex. When a man feels inferior before the public, he wants to make up for it with the wealth he has acquired, and that's lead to greediness. And that's what we have in leadership. If not, this, the Guinea-Bissau we're talking about, you have succeeded in being, in government for a tenure. The only civilized man we have seen in Africa that showed that Africa is true Africa is Nelson Mandela. After he did 4 years, he left office voluntarily. He refused to run for re-elections. Because what is the name you are looking for? You want to be president, and you've already been president. So why do you want to perpetuate yourself in power? So this is what has caused the problem we're having today. The bottom line is greed. Our leaders are greedy. One, secondly, they are unrefined. Thirdly, they are uncivilized. Fourthly, they are half-educated. Because no educated man who is refined will go the way the African leaders are going.
Okafor, we have every African nation, excluding none, sitting under wealth of mineral resources. That's number one. Number two, sitting down with enlightened intellectual people. They normally say that the wealth of a nation is its people. What has happened to the African community?
Lack of patriotism. And the most unpatriotic citizen of any African nation is that man or woman who has been president for one tenure and you want to rig second tenure. Because you're already at the top. You've had it all already. You're already a president. In the midst of millions, you have been taken to lead a nation. You have been an epitome of a nation. And after that, you decide to push that country into anarchy by forcing yourself through undemocratic process, knowing that democracy means that you have to follow the rules of the election. Then you decide to subvert it. Then you are the most unpatriotic citizen of that country. And if what has happened in Guinea-Bissau is that President Embalo attempted to perpetuate himself by claiming he won 65% of the vote, whereas that was not what happened. He's the number one unpatriotic citizen of Guinea-Bissau. He's already president. What else do you want to be? You could only be president. Warren Buffett used to say something. A man who has seen $100 billion dollar is not motivated by even $120 billion dollar. Because what is it? It's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. So you have to understand that we need to be patriotic. And patriotism is putting your country ahead of you, especially when that country has even putting you ahead of others. So you can't be a president, and that's why people respect Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan is a former president of Nigeria. No matter what you look at it, tomorrow if he wants to contest, I can assure you a lot of people are going to embrace his presidency. Do you know why? Because he's not hungry. He's not ready to do everything for it. Rather, he was ready to do everything for his nation. Now, the other people are these people that has power. The military, the police, and others. They should work in line with law and order. Do not perpetuate lawlessness. Then at the end of the day, you want to come and take over power. But it was happening, and in some cases, they were part of it. In some cases, the military were used to perpetuate this lawlessness in elections. Then what you were used in perpetuating, you are not coming out to say, oh, we can do it better, but you were part of it. And the law only allows you to obey lawful order.
All right.
In addition to what he said,
yes.
When he said patriotism and the military, you see, you can't help but to go with the topic patriotism, because it's out of, a man who is not to his country that will use the military to perpetuate itself in power. What he doesn't realize that this same military you are using to perpetuate itself in power will come to undo you, and that's what has happened in Guinea-Bissau. So it's a warning to all African leaders, especially in Nigeria, where military are deployed for offset coup election just because you want your party to capture all the states. One day, this military you are using to perpetuate the power, they already know your secret, and when they cause the chaos, that chaos is what they will capitalize on to unseat you. So Nigeria and African leaders should realize that the military place is in the barrack, it's not in the election ground. The only people who are allowed to come a little bit close to election ground is the police officers, civil defense officers. So what is the military doing? When you are bringing the military out of the barrack and you are using them, the military are happy, they are learning the rope. When they perfect it and they help you to cause the chaos, it is that chaos that they will use as an excuse to unseat you.
Okay, you talked about greed.
Yeah,
we have seen most Nigerian politicians greedy. They go from House of Rep to the Senate. From the Senate, they go to be a governor. From the governor, if they can't go to the presidency, they come back to the Senate, fighting their way through. They couldn't do anything as in the House as representative of their constituency. They couldn't do anything in the House, in the Senate chamber as a senator. They couldn't even transform their state. Now they come back to want to be a senator again. That greed, don't you think it exists among Nigerian politicians?
Yeah, I mean, it's because you have always said it, which I've also believe is just the thing that will help us stand where we are. Our reward system and our punitive system, and in overall, which in cases is our value system. Our value system is so bad that the people, have made up their mind to worship, rank and dede, to worship only the Oga or somebody that remains there. That our value system need to be changed. These people seem to lose relevance once they do not return to the office. They think losing the election means you are a weak person. It means that people do not accept the ideology you are putting forward as at that time. But we gradually, I beginning to see Nigeria accept that we lack education. It's because we lack education. Even the populists are not even aware that because somebody lost the election doesn't mean he's a weak man. Do you know that some people are telling the only reason why they are supporting, for example, let me not pull it out of context, the only reason why they are supporting Wike in this PDP matter, they say, wait, now let's watch at the end. Should be Wike go win. Is it about who will win or who is damaging our democracy?
By what means?
By what means? So they say at the end of the day, should be Wike go win. So the only reason why they are queuing up behind Wike to support Wike is that they believe at the end Wike will win. How? What if Wike loses? So if Wike loses, they will abandon Wike and follow another strong man. Our love for strong man syndrome shown in emptiness, strong man syndrome shown in having police to surround you is so bad. Our value system needs to start changing, because at the end of the day, when you have leadership problem, you have no successful way of diversing it for followership problem.
Philip, we definitely have a leadership problem in Nigeria. There's no two way to that. Elections are not one clean and cut. We don't see the umpire following the rule of what they have said they will do in this contest. How do we operate and move forward? Because you see, the reason we take Nigeria as an example is for the fact that Nigeria is the largest country, in fact, it's the largest country in the world where blacks are concentrated. And in Africa, if there's a problem in Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau or whatever, Guinea, nobody will stand.
They will be shy.
Yes.
You see, how do we solve the problem of the umpire not doing what they say that they will do? It's a huge problem that we don't know how to solve it, because until we have an umpire or a man who is the chairman of INEC who knows what to do, we will not move forward. The fact remains that the appointment of the INEC chairman remain a problem. I have said it before that when you use the military to perpetuate yourself in power, you use them to cut chaos in political party, you use them to aid persons to take over parties. At the end of the day, that chaos you are asked, you use them to be the one to undo you. Now, how do we cure this INEC problem? Because we are making reference to Nigeria.
Yeah.
It is the leadership of today. If they want to save their head, they should ensure that they give Nigeria a credible election, a credible leadership of INEC. They should stop interfering with the affairs of INEC. They should stop interfering with the affairs of the judiciary. They should stop interfering with the affairs of the legislator. Let every man take care of his job so that Nigeria can move forward. The moment they stop doing that, you see what happened at the Senate yesterday. Yesterday, Senator Seriaka Dixon, stood up to speak on the issue of security. The moment Senator Seriaka was defying from what the Senate was saying, they shut him down. Because it was said that this is not the right time to commend the president. This is the time for us to collaborate to see how we can solve the problem. The president had not done anything that what commendation, that our guests were kidnapped and people were kidnapped and they were released. And how they were released is unknown to us, whether through negotiation or ransom was paid. The man was shot from speaking. Until this kind of style of government is done away with, we go nowhere.
Okafor, the African leaders that monitor election, from African Elders Council to the electionary monitoring team, what are their effects?
They are not the ones saddled with the responsibility to conduct the election. Monitoring is monitoring. Monitoring is just what happened that day. Like Goodluck Jonathan is in Guinea now, trapped in Guinea. He went there for monitoring. He doesn't know the kind of ballot paper. He didn't know how the logistic of around Guinea.
So what's the use of the monitoring?
They just to see on air. One, monitoring can help you know if there was a violence.
They've never written a report.
So you're just saying what monitoring to do.
But they've never written a report to show the effectiveness. They were in Cote d'Ivoire recently. They were in Tanzania recently. They were in Cameroon.
Now, there is always use for monitoring, no doubt.
So I want to know, to Africans, these elders that we see, that go to monitor from one country to the other.
Yes.
What is their effect?
No, let me ask a question. Who monitor American elections?
Exactly.
Who monitor the British elections? Why the monitoring? What effect?
No,
what good has it done?
For now, you are talking about analogy of what happened in Guinea-Bissau.
Yes.
Drawing it to Nigeria.
Yes.
Goodluck Jonathan was there firsthand.
Yes.
They have the opportunity to also let us know what is happening here, and you have to look at it that African countries, their democracies are younger. America has democracy running over 200 years. If you can't compare that, even at that, it's still suffering one or two things. You saw Donald Trump said the last time that he was rigged out by.
But we know that it is.
How we know? That's
No,
but he said it. But he said it. What he said is what he said. You can't go. What a man said is what you heard. You can't go and pick something else different from what he said. Donald Trump said he was rigged out.
Before he said it, there's never been another American president that has said it.
This is one that said it. So Donald Trump said he was rigged out, and that was what he said. So he can't say A, will not say he meant B. We're
not saying so. We are saying his personality. His person. Allege.
But he said he was rigged out.
As much as also what he wanted to do at the Capitol Hill did not succeed. We've never seen it in America before.
We've never seen it before. That's what I'm saying. That to say that American democracy is just the same with that of Africa is not true. America has been succeeding, from one tenure to the other almost countless times. But that of Africa, look at what is happening in Cameroon. The man wants to die there. You understand? Look at what happened in Gabon recently. It's almost all over. And you see, I just said it, the most unpatriotic citizen is that person who has been president and you want to rig election to remain. You are actually the most unpatriotic. But drawing it to Guinea, we expect at this time that our Nigeria have to establish a strong link to get our people back, to get Jonathan back, and to allow the military, allow them to leave, because they are supposed to come there. They can't remain there incommunicado. Even though Jonathan said we are safe. I mean, once you prevent a man from running his normal program, you have denied him, you are holding him hostage. If I lock you in a room and you are safe in one room, what if you had wanted to attend the meeting? So they should bring Jonathan back, not only our guest back.
Philip, on a roundup note, we see that Jonathan we see rumors flying all over the place that Jonathan wants to run for 2027. We need him back so that we have a right to choose from as many candidates as want to come out.
Very well, because Jonathan is one of these elder statement that that is trying to change the Nigerian value system, because he's the only president who had was a president and allowed a credible process, and that took him out of office, and the people had realized that Jonathan is still the man. So if he's head back there, we won't be able to to show to him that yes, we value him. We can attest to his record. We wanted to to continue from where he stopped. So we appeal to the Nigerian government to do all they can
to get him back.
Jonathan gets back safely before the end of the day.
Okay, former President Jonathan get back safely. That's what we are clamoring for. We'll be right back on